Going on the ground.
And welcome to this week's show. And this week's guest is no stranger to music at all. He's jammed with Rory Gallagher. He's a guitarist and lyre. He's a singer-songwriter in his own right. Writes musicals and is a top producer. The guest this week is Dublin legend Colm Quearnery. So what have you been doing lately? Doing a few gigs in that?
Doing a few gigs, teaching a little bit, which is really good. It's good to kind of teach and kind of give back to kind of younger kids coming up, and I've done a lot of that here in Ballymun over the years, which I've enjoyed. But I recently had a musical on here in Axis, and that was a real adventure, because just kind of working as a singer-songwriter and recording albums all the time, like yourself, it kind of...
You get fed up?
Yeah, I kind of felt it like a bit repetitive, and like when you're creative...
It's like when you're in the studio, you want to get out of the studio, and then you want to get back into the studio.
Yeah, exactly, and it feels sometimes like it's a bit of a dog day afternoon, so writing a musical was a really good way of just mixing things up and having to think differently, you know. You know, it's like for example, write songs that I wouldn't normally sing. Like when you're writing songs or unwritten songs, say for an album, a lot of that material is coming from our experiences in life, and you can only draw on those kind of things, I think, for so many songs. But writing a musical, when you have characters, fathers, mothers, brothers and sisters and friends, and you're writing songs for them, they have a whole different kind of headspace and context. And when you write those songs, you might not necessarily perform them yourself when you're doing your own gigs, you know what I mean? Because they're not those kind of songs. So as a songwriter, it was really kind of challenging and exciting to just, like I was saying earlier, just do something different and kind of coming from a new...
Yeah, because when they're on songs, there's something special in them.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go do the music, you can kind of dust with this, mess with that.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Have fun and not be so... When we're writing our own songs, I know a lot of your songs are like this, they can be very personal.
Yeah.
And they can be kind of expressing something all the time. And when you keep going back to that well of creativity all the time, sometimes...
it leaves you.
yeah. Well, you're just kind of thinking, well, I've kind of, you know, I've probably drawn on all those experiences a lot now, so it's time to kind of do something different, or else live a little bit more before I kind of write another original album. I think I'm going to do a gig in the Ansley. So I haven't played there in about 6 years, and it's a great spot. So I was thinking of doing once a month for maybe 6 months and having different friends and different guests. Probably get yourself to do some months.
They will do. Love to.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Colm, thanks very much for coming on. And when you're playing the Ansley House, we'll put it out there. Ladies and gentlemen, pleasure to have such a brilliant talent, Dublin legend. I've got to give his name now, Colm Quearnery.
You can play a melody, play it on my heartstrings. You will hear me singing, you will hear me sing it for you. I'll sing it for you, sing it for you. You could hold a mountain, you could hold it in your hands, just like the Himalaya. I will be sitting on top, laughing at you, laughing at you. it's kind of poetic in a way. It's not like doesn't sound kind of literal, but it's actually about. If I was to say it was about something, like you're saying, it's about childhood partly. Like the last verse is about childhood, but actually what it's about is it's kind of about meditation. In that, when you stop taking drugs or getting back to where you were when you were a kid.
Like the way I am now.
Yeah, exactly. Like in your meditation, like when you're meditating, you're kind of looking at yourself. You're trying to unravel things about yourself. And trying to find out about yourself and get a deeper meaning of life.
Sometimes it's go back to your past and go to your future.
Yeah, but also I think when you're young, like the last verse, when you're young, you're very, like I found anyway, you can be very happy.
Yeah, well, when you're young is when you're most happy.
Yeah,
and then as you go through life and you realise, like, I know where I come from, it's kind of, you realise it's not as easy as you thought.
Yeah. And then you start doing things and taking things and looking for things to make life more interesting. And you actually, when you're that close to your childhood, you think that your childhood's kind of boring because you want to grow up and you want to start. You're excited about going to pubs and hanging out and doing things. But then you get to a stage where, when I wrote this song in my late 20s, when you realise that if you could actually just get back to the place of like being on a bicycle and all on that kind of just contentment where you don't need anything, you can actually just, and you don't actually have to be an adult either. The problem with growing up is that people want you to be an adult. I'll do another song. This one's from the musical, and it's a song about somebody who loses their way. The central character of the musical, his name is Franco, and at one stage of the play, everybody's singing this song to him while he's curled up in bed with a blanket over him, and kind of willing him on. And the lyrics will probably hopefully be kind of explanatory. Let's see how it goes. Follow me to the west, spread your wings, leave your nest. The darkest hour comes before the dawn. You're gonna take a chance or leave me on. You're standing in the shadows too. They call your name to an empty chair. They search the streets and the cold in air. The self-medication lets you down. How does it feel to be the talk of the town? You're standing in the shadows too long. Standing in the shadows too long. Standing in the shadows too long. Follow me through the sound. Leave the slumber of this coastal town. Come and join me when the sun shines gold. You're gonna take a chance or leave me cold. You're standing in the shadows too long. They call your name to an empty chair. They search the streets in the cold air. Self-medication lets you down. How does it feel to be the talk of the town? You're standing in the shadows too long. Standing in the shadows too long. we're going to do a web TV series,
Yeah,
six half-hour episodes. We're going to do auditions here or rehearsals at the end of August, and then maybe shoot on the weekends in September.
Very good.
So we're just trying to get all the production together.
Very good.
The good thing for me is that when the musical finished, and we were kind of doing it for about a year, then the lead actor's mother, Sasha, who's a director and producer, and his father then is a tech guy, does all filming and post-production and stuff. They said, look, let's kind of do something with this. Let's do some, let's turn it into like a kind of TV series. And I was like, yeah.
Delighted.
So
Deadly.
the good thing for me is, like, in relation to what you're asking, is that I don't have to. I just have to be the writer.